Both these cars should not be on the road. So we bought the two worst R53s on the market to do you guys a public service and show you how bad things can get when you buy private. Here's a 101 on how to avoid a nail. So, two R53s, both sub £1,000 cars, and chances are that one should be a good car because it's 86,000 miles, full history, nice car, and the other one's got 130,000 miles, but it's red. This video is going to be a bit of a buyer's guide if you're buying one private. Obviously, if you're buying one from a dealer, then you could probably use this video, to be honest with you, because not a lot of people know what they're doing with these cars. They're 20-year-olds and they're feeling it. So, first things first, if I'm going to see a car, I'm looking, first thing is how it looks on the front. Washer jet cap missing. If you're going to look at a red car, 99% of them have got lack appeal now because the red does not like the UV light. Modern paint is not like that anymore. Peeling on the roof. You're going to look for age of tyres as well. So on each tyre there'll be a dot code. If you put that dot code into Google, it'll tell you how old the tyres are. Chances are, if the wheels are absolutely battered, then that'll give you some indication of what life this car has lived. If it's from London though, I'll let you off because they're all battered in London. But yeah, coming around the back. So, R53s, R50s, R52s at the minute are common for rusting just under the rear lights, on top of the boot handle, and on both sides. The thing is, the water gets underneath the light, sits in, and because of the way the metal's pressed, it just rots from the inside. Now, pre-facelift is not as bad as the facelift ones, because I'm guessing the manufacturing process was slightly different, or the type of metal what they use was better on the earlier ones. However, they all get it. They all just get it over here as well. The older, crappier ones will start getting it around the fuel cap, start getting dots here, dots down here, dots at the bottom here, and then underneath, as I'll show you when we get these on the ramp, is a different ball game. Oh, oh. Right, interior wise as well, if we come over to this one, let's not pop this. If you've got Harman Kardon, you need to be checking that all your speakers work. You need to be checking all your speakers work anyway, but the Harman Kardon head units are a bit of a, well, they're not very good. The speakers do fail. Window regulators as well fail on the driver's side more often because of the short drop. This is a door that's getting opened more. Inside, we are looking for roof lining sagging. This one's sagging at the back. It's not a nice job to do. No one wants to do a roof lining. I certainly don't. When you start your car, because this one's not going to start, and I'll show you why in a second, you need to make sure all the lights are going to flash on, flash off. This one probably won't start. No, and I'll tell you why. If we get into the boot, here we go actually. Rust on the boot lids. This occurs because there's a 12 quid seal from BMW what's made of foam, what no one's replaced. Boot struts are working, which is good. Now tell me what's wrong here. This is what's wrong. The battery is way too small for this car. Previous owner put a new battery on and it worked twice. However, it's way too small. Can't start that one. Come on. But this one should start. Now, first things first, before I start cars, when I'm going to look at them private, I'll pop the bonnet and I'll get underneath it. And I'm looking for a few things. First one's first, I'm always looking at the top mounts being mushroomed, like this one is. I'm looking for top mount rubbers being cracked and exploded up. Intercooler's missing, cover's missing, sorry. Airbox is modded. So this tells me that the original owner of this one didn't have much money for maintenance because this, no words, no words. Right, next one. expansion tank. Is it leaking? Is it cracked? Is it missing up with here, coolant here on the middle seam? Is the cap leaking? Has it got drip marks here? Is it brown? If it's brown, flush it down. And also the exhaust, the manifold heat shield, is that full of coolant? This one looks all right, to be honest with you. Next thing I'm looking at, because you can see it as well, if you come down here, is the alternator cracked? The alternator's down there, the case is cracked on this one just on the end, which shows a sign of an old unit, and that wants changing because it's going to imminently fail. Next to that, we've got a supercharger pulley, we've got a belt. The auxiliary belt is that looking worn and frail. You can see both sides of the belt from here. You can see inside. If it's cracked, if it's frayed, then it definitely hasn't had one for a long time. Another thing I keep spotting is this being rounded off so you can bleed your coolant. Lots of problems come from your throttle body area. And we're going to look for cracks on your charge pipe. Now this one's been changed for an MTC one, but these do split. They're split in half. They're split on the breather to the rocker cover, and your your throttle body does stick. They can cause problems with starting, misfiring, and the idling. Now, if you've turned your car on by this point and the car's not idling right and it's hunting, chances are it'll need an oxygen sensor, or you've got an air leak somewhere. Bits I'm looking for is whether all the bolts are present. So obviously intercooler cover's missing, map sensor bolts are missing, and probably various others, but because this is a quick video, we're going to blast through this one. And if we look at the grey one, let's get this up. Oh! That's what I mean by an old expansion tank. So, ABS pump. From your ABS pump, you've got a line for every brake line and your clutch line. So, we're going to look for these being corroded, the shape of them, are they the original material? If they're copper, have they been done very well? Is it leaking? These seem all right. The original charge pipe's there. All the clips are there as well. And then from the top, before I get underneath anything, there we go. There's a great example of a top mount that's absolutely shattered its pants. HT leads. Right. So, these create a lot of misfires, generally on number 3. However, when people leave the cars to sit for a long time, which a lot of owners do with R53s, they get rodents, and rodents start eating the rubbers on the HT leads, I've noticed. So these are the ones to look for. They're inexpensive to change and they're fairly easy to change, but could save you a lot of money and hassle on the side of the motorway. So, power steering fluid. This is the reservoir for your power steering pump. It leaks from either or of these two pipes, mainly because this clip is getting old and it's starting to stretch out over time. Cool. We can almost see the flexi on the manifold. We're looking to see if it's blowing, if the cage is still attached to it. And down here, we can usually see most of our oil leaks as well. Now this one looks fairly clean, and I think it's because there's no oil in the car. I'm not going to show you how to check your oil. You should know that on if you're looking at buying one of these now. Another great spot for cars when you're looking at them is the rocker cover gasket. Is your rocker cover leaking? Because it leaks a lot on these, and it always leaks from this back area. And if it is leaking, then you've got to consider, yeah, it's not a bad job, but the only bit is these bolts right here. Are these bolts ever going to come out? So you're never getting your 8mm on there anymore. You're probably not even getting a hammer in a 7 or a 6. That's a die grinder job and a new rocker cover probably. Let's get up in there. Ignore the fact I ain't said there's 2 flat tyres on this one, because there is. So, we've got this one on the ramp. The only way it starts and goes is by having my jump back on because the battery's too slow. 2 front tyres. We've also got an exhaust blowing. We've got many lights on, so we've got the trifactor, which generally means the speed sensor's out. Not too sure which one it is. Not put the computer on, I'm going to find out. let's get it up. So I'm not going to go through the very basics of going to look at a car. You should know how to check the oil, check the coolant, check for like flat tyres, tread on tyres and so forth. This really is an R53 special video, and I'm going to go through everything what you can see on the drive. So you probably heard that the fact that something's blowing on the exhaust. Now on the drive you wouldn't know if it's the manifold, the flexi, the actual exhaust. So imagine I'm on the floor. It's just much easier to show you with camera on this one. So the car's up in the air. This honestly is the heaviest corrosion I've ever seen on an R53. Ignore the oil leak for now, let's just go through the body. The engine's on, so let's find out where it's blowing from. It looks to me like it's blowing from cat. And also, another thing what you'd be able to tell on the drive or on the road is nothing's attaching this. So that needs some hangers. If there's no hangers on, chances are it's snapped out the body, but it looks like the rubber has just come away on this one, so they want changing. You can see underneath these cars when you get on the floor. Bring a torch, see what it's like. The rear subframes are famed for corrosion. Mainly starts with surface corrosion, gets deeper and deeper and deeper, and so are the rear arms. That's why you see a lot of people doing the R56 arm swap on the rears. Now, one thing you're not going to see on the drive, but hopefully the rest of this will be an indication to the state of it, is your rear kick plates. Now these are soft. I reckon if I hit them hard enough with something a bit pointy, I'll be able to poke an hole through the chassis. These are a nightmare for going on the higher mileage cars, the stuff what's been living near the sea. I can also hear the fuel pump struggling. I'm not sure how much fuel's in here. The body itself is corroded, but wow, the front subframe, unreal. Just going to turn this off. Can I just remind you, this car's got 86,000 miles on, it's HPI clear, all the service history adds up for it, the MOT history has got a bit of these details on. The guy what we bought this from had it for 2 weeks and bought it out the owners club. I'm not going to name names and shame, but I'll never deal with the guy, he's fairly local to us. However, he should be ashamed that he's selling these cars like this to punters. Yeah, it's got no MOT, it was sold as a project, but it's beyond the project, it's scrap. Right, now we've got the car off, let's get a quick check for some oil leaks. Oh no. Right, usual suspects, rear main seal, potentially, or sump, or the rocker cover's leaking down the back of the engine, but this is quite bad. On both sides, these leak from every seal possible, so we're going to look for, even though it's got 86,000 miles, we're looking for previous repairs. Ideally we'd like to see a clutch and a timing chain, but realistically you're not going to get it because the timing chains only ever go if there's no oil in the car, and the clutches only go if somebody can't drive. Another big expense when you are looking to buy one of these is bushers, subframe bushers. So, these bushers here, control arm rear bushers, I've got a habit of splitting on minis, and you'll notice when you park your car up and you put your handbrake on, it still moves a little bit, or it's a bit sloppy around the corners. Chances are they've torn out and they want doing. To do that though, it's a full subframe drop. Track rod ends go a lot, drop links go a lot, and they are all generally extras to your top mounts going, and it is a little bit of a butterfly effect. CV boots also go on these quite a lot. They're just split with age. The cars are getting old now and they're not the best job to do. They're a messy job, and if they come out, they're not too bad. If they don't want to come out the hub, then you're probably going to replace the hub as well, and maybe a speed sensor depending on how angry you get with it. Really common oil leak, what you'll see coming down the front of the engine is the crank sensor O-ring. Good to do that whilst you are in there. If the front end's off, get it swapped, it's £3 for a seal. If you're doing a supercharger service, get it swapped, it comes in the kit. If you're just doing it anyway, probably about an hour's worth of work. You've got to get all the front end off. Or if you've got really tiny hands and good little sneaky tools, then you could probably do it with just that bottom tray off and maybe loosening the front end a little bit. So you should know by now if your brakes are knackered. I'm not going to go through that. But these are mainly R53 bits. So big hit list for you, and I'm checking these every time I go and find a car. I'm checking these and I know what I'm getting myself in for. I know I'm not overpaying for the car because I've got to spend the money on the repairs. And I'll tell you the difference between a low mileage car and a high mileage car is realistically the ownership previously. This car, on the face of it, should be a retailable car looking at the MOT, well, ignore the MOT history because it's not been MOT'd for a while, but the mileage and the service history being full with 2 keys, it should be retailable. But let's just ignore the fact that it's got a hole in the side of it. Here's proof that mileage is not everything. So, look at it underneath, it's so much better. It's still crispy, it's got 130,000 on. However, it doesn't look like I've just dug it up. Is the handbrake on this? Yeah, you put handbrake on. So, front subframe looks fairly decent. It's been protected by the oil leak, which is a good thing and a bad thing. Means you're probably not going to have to do anything to that. However, you've got major problems with your engine. 130,000 miles this one, and obviously you can tell it's got a lot of miles on, but the oil leaks, just they're maintenance problems unless it's coming from rear main seal. The bit what worries me is the fact that it's coming out of the seam for the gearbox, like it's been split open. Could be the fact that it's just been launched everywhere as it's been driving. Don't know if there's any oil in this car because I've not checked. But yeah, front suspension. You could probably see this on the floor, but you're a ball joint out. It's probably an harsh one to see. Tractor end's pretty good. I'm always changing these. Both sides are alright. Bodywork, there's not actually that much corrosion. You're always going to get surface corrosion on these. They're 20-year-old now, so even the nice cars have got a little something in places. But the bits what worry me on every car, what I see these days, is behind your kick plates. Like the silver one's so bad, I reckon if I whacked it with something, I'd probably get through it. But yeah, it's got 130,000 on this one. The oil leaks keep me away from it full stop because there's so many different oil leaks and the fact that it's red. Don't get distracted by the Gucci bits. Just because it's got a fancy exhaust and some aftermarket wheels and then an induction kit or something like that doesn't make it a good car. These are all budget quality stuff. Like the tyres are old, the tyres are cracked, but it's one of them things where buy cheap, buy twice. So, another one what you can generally see from top, if you do see oil down from the back of the engine, which you would on this one, there's a couple of places also that may have come from, other than the sump, the oil pump gasket / timing chain, the rocker cover gasket. And a common one is your oil cooler housing. Get me massive torch on my jump pack because I can't find my light. Look at that. There's so much oil up there. Common place for these to leak. You can see it from that bolt just in the middle. That's probably your rocker cover. The reason why it's all over the tensioner is because it's leaking from the timing chain cover. And these two pipes here are coolant pipes that go into your oil cooler on the back of your oil filter housing. And the gaskets for them leak like crazy. Just between there, you can see a green switch, yeah? It's wet. There is a chance that that is the oil pressure sensor switch. However, there's a chance that that is leaking. That only generally leaks if someone's overfilled the oil and then the oil builds up so much pressure it tries to find the easiest way out, which is generally down your wiring loom. Rear bushes on this one have been poly bushed, so they're doing well. Flex is not doing very well there. That one's pretty much toast. Dun, dun, dun. Another thing is I see on these, you're only going to see these if you take a jack, I'll be honest with you. We're deep in now. Power steering fluid leaking, you can see it right here. These two pipes here are for the reservoir, right there. And they leak like crazy. So new track with hands on, inners and outers. Oh yeah, not too bad. BKD gearbox, so we've got no LSD because it's pre-facelift. Well, the drive shafts on these. This one is a great example. This one needs a CV boot. We've got CV grease coming out. The drive shafts do require replacing on these. They can cause problems. If you've got your car lowered and you've not got the correct shims in, then you're going to have problems and probably lose a drive shaft at some point. Have some crazy vibration as you're setting off and driving. But this thing's probably got no oil in it. Look at that. It's so wet. So if you want to buy this car, it'll be up at £15,000. I know dealers that would sell that.
I know.
Nuts. Get off. However, we're going to part it. We need the parts. I need all my little trims that I go through. Yeah. Let's get it out there before it falls off the ramp. No, it's not that one. The dark silver one, if I were under that and the sink stay at that, probably take it off my ramp and go, you take it somewhere else and it's going to crumble on my ramp, that one. So, bits what we didn't go through, and it's mainly because of the mic, is how the engine actually sounds. These engines run semi-smooth. They shouldn't sound like they're grinding or a bit diesely. There should be none of that noise. And if there is, chances are you need to start looking at your timing chain or the rocker arms. Shall we get this off my ramp? Hopefully you've enjoyed the video. If you do have any questions, just drop them in the comments, give us a like the video, please subscribe. We're putting a lot of effort into these and I couldn't believe the fact that 2,200 people have watched the GP1 video. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video and it helps you stop buying a ringer when you go for an R53 if you've been thinking about it. Obviously it's not gone through the obvious bits, but you should know these. If you're looking at buying a car second hand, you should have a basic level of mechanics. And if you don't, get one from a VAT registered dealer, one what preps their own cars. Don't send them out. It's not come from BCA. The only reason cars are in BCA in the first place is because that dealer deemed it not good enough to sell. But yeah, R53s, you get into a bit of a niche market now if you're looking at these. Each R53 drives totally different. They've had different ownerships. 20 years into some of these cars now. Some of them are worth more in parts than they are as actual cars, just like these two. Ooh, here's one for you. Harman Kardon, I mentioned it earlier. Now, the amps are prone to failing, and to get to the amp as well, so if someone goes, oh yeah, amp's just 100 quid on eBay, you have to take all this quarter out, all these plastics, just to get to that amp. And if you've not done them before, it's not really an easy job, it's just awkward, frustrating. You've got a CD changer in your way on some of the cars, seats to pull out, full rear quarter to pull out. And it's same if you're doing a window regulator as well, because you can't get your hands in there. Well, I can't, but I struggle. But yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. Please subscribe. Don't sound too bad, this. There's a little bit of something. Parking sensor don't work. parking sensor doesn't work, but the parts car parking sensor does work. Oh, so yeah. Ooh, I missed this one. Because my central locking does not work. This is a very annoying one, because the pre-facelift keys, as this one is, need coding. The facelift keys, as that one is, and they're on the same plates by the way, so we're right on the cut off, comes coded from BMW. So, if your central locking is not working, there's a receiver up in the wing mirror. If that's not working, your key battery is dead. But